Now it's time for Glow with Markette Sheppard, a show where talk enlightens and inspires you to glow through life instead of going through the life just to get by. Hosted by Emmy award-winning TV host and best-selling author Markette Sheppard. Listen now for insightful conversations featuring celebrities and thought leaders. Call in to share your story live on air. Are you ready for a glow up? Your journey towards enlightenment starts right now.
Hi, everyone. It's Markette Sheppard joining you for this 2021 Inspirational Live podcast with the team of Glow contributors, Brandon Richardson on beauty and matcha, Cheryl Grant here to give you a TV and film update, and Norma Ramirez here to talk about all things recovery in life. Welcome, guys, to the Glow Show. How are you?
Happy Monday.
Good morning.
Well, I'm so excited to have you guys here because we have a phenomenal guest on today's show. Her name is Deborah Owens, and she is America's wealth coach. She's a financial expert, author, and entrepreneur. Deborah helps ambitious, high-achieving women build their wealth, and we're talking about 7 figures, 8 figures, and on and on and on. She's the author of several Simon & Schuster books. You may have heard of them: Confident Investing, Every Woman's Money, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth, and A Purse of Your Own. She has more than 20 years of experience working as an executive, a vice president at Fidelity Investments. And I met Deborah through a show I used to host. And before that, I met her husband, who's a former TV news anchor. And he asked me, do you have a purse of your own? And I thought, what? I do, but I never thought of it like that. So, Deborah, we have our team of Glow contributors here. And Brandon, Deborah's ready to go. Brandon, I know we have a great beauty report and TV and film report and an update from Norma, but do you guys mind if we jump right into the wealth issues? Because a lot of people need to hear this information right now.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So they'll be coming back asking you questions, Deborah. We have our audience live on Facebook who may be in the comments. And I want to start this off by saying, in 1 year, women have globally lost $800 billion in income due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is from a study that was reported in CNBC. I know I've lost money when I've had to take leave and leave work because the corporation doesn't understand that, you can't find a babysitter in a pandemic. Deborah, how do women cope with this? First of all, from a mental standpoint, get your mind right, and then go to war to win that purse of their own.
Well, great question. One of the things very early on, what we focus on, Markette, is having a wealth mindset. And a wealth mindset really means that you view problems as opportunity. And so the pandemic, we more than doubled our revenues during the pandemic. And part of that is just understanding that sometimes you need to be able to pivot. And not only that, to see the possibilities and the volatilities that's coming at you. So very early on, we have a growing community, the Wealthy You community. We have over 7,500 women in our private Facebook group, and then we have a membership group, right? And then we have different levels of membership. And actually, our group program was launched as a result of the pandemic, because many of the women who've been in our program and our coaching programs, they had become really concerned, because if you can recall, as soon as the pandemic hit, the market tanked. And so everyone was so fearful. And so as a result of that, I went live for probably 30 days straight, as my team just reminded me. And it really was to convey, listen, all of you know what the wealth mindset is. And it's one of our 7 wealthy habits. And that means viewing problems as opportunity. So let's look around the corner and let's look at what are the companies and the businesses that are going to profit right? That are gonna grow. Let's go where the growth is how I termed it. And so as a result, we went completely virtual because we were doing live programming. We launched our first group program because what was really, really important was that accountability and support. And so that you could align yourself with other people who are, have this adopted this wealth mindset. And now you're not as fearful. And then I think the other aspect of it was really looking specifically at companies that were going to do well. So as a result of that, we teach women how to analyze and research stocks, looking at who was going to profit. And so at that time, the companies that we looked at, Zoom, DocuSign, all of these companies that were going to do really, really well as a result of business going virtual. And so that, and we have the great resignation. So I think the other aspect of it was people really recognizing that, you know what, I want to be able to do this on my own terms. And I want that flexibility. So yes, it's tough when you've got family, when you're trying to raise kids, and school them virtually. But what I really want to challenge women to do is to look at the opportunities that these problems are going to continue to present, because clearly with this new variant that's just been announced is not going away.
So what I'm taking from what you just said is look at your problems as opportunities. That's how you get your mind right first. Surround yourself with a group of people who can hold you accountable and lift you up. And that's what your Facebook group you mentioned does for people. And be okay with pivoting, because the reality is the only thing constant in life is change. And so that's number one. I want to talk about investing because I know that you're an expert in this. And Glowstream TV, we recently launched our annual holiday gift guide. And in it, I write to women, I know that diamonds are a girl's best friend. I love diamonds. I wear them every day. But why don't we turn that notion on its ear and maybe invest in diamond stocks? Like, no one taught that to me. It was just something I started to research. And I found that, hey, getting stock in diamonds is not all that expensive. It's cheaper than buying carats. Should we be looking at certain stocks around the holiday season, which is when we're recording right now, and thinking about gifting ourselves and other important women in our lives, our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, a little token of our appreciation and love, but then also something that's going to grow in appreciation?
Well, let's look at it this way. I think we're talking about two different asset classes, right? So when we're talking about diamonds specifically, we're talking about gems, right? Whereas, the companies or we're talking about mining companies, right? And so if we look at the price of gold, the price of silver, what we've really seen most recently is those precious metals, if you will, have really increased in price. But part of that is the economic environment that we're in. Typically, people use precious metals or gold or silver as a hedge against inflation. Now, talking about mining companies, it is interesting. What most people need to understand is that most of the diamonds come from South Africa, right? And so if we start to think about, apartheid and a lot of things that were a result of that, what I would say that the thing to do now is to gift actual stocks, and you can buy gift certificates now. Let me give your audience one tip is stockpile.com. You can go there. You can buy a gift card for $50, $100. You can give it to someone. You can even either gift a specific stock, right? Or you can gift that card and they can use it to buy the company like Amazon or Facebook or those companies. I think is a very easy way to gift your loved ones the gift that keeps on giving.
I like that. I got a stock as a gift. I think it was Apple, but all of these companies that you said that are doing well in a virtual environment, delivery services, online shopping giants, video conferencing services. Yes, buy the subscription or whatever else your loved ones want, but give them a stock too that appreciates in value. And that is the dream, right? Is having your money work for you.
Yes. So you no longer have to at some point.
Now, going back to how we started this conversation, there are still some women where maybe they stumbled or suffered a setback because of this pandemic and all of the money lost by women specifically as a result of the health crisis and the racial reckoning going on in the US. How do you actually begin to enjoy the fruits of your labor and build wealth at the same time? Because I think part of the mind shift is people thinking, well, if I save all my money, I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. Or you only live once, so enjoy your money. Does it have to be an either or?
No, I think it can be an and I think it's important that there is an and, right? In Wealthy You, one of the first exercises that women do, and we're about to have our Wealthy Vision vision board party. And that is about really getting underneath what's important to you, right? And once you identify, what's important to me, and then what do I need to do so that I can have the freedom, because that's really what money is about. Building wealth, it's not about living in some ginormous mansion or driving some, Maserati or Bentley. What wealth really allows you to do is experience freedom. The freedom, if you want to go off and spend 2 months and travel, the ability to do that, right? To live abundantly. So I really encourage people to look at delayed gratification, if you will, in a different way. And what I found in Wealthy You is that when people really decide what they really want, and then they're able to go after it, that allows them to stay the course. So I am by no means frugal Fanny, nor do I advocate people, keeping their aluminum foil and reusing it so that they can save money, or, that latte that you drink every day. I think that a lot of that is focused really in a scarcity mindset, and that there has to be balance in all things. So to that end, what I would say is don't focus on what I have to give up. Really focus on how you can create more to give you then the flexibility to make those choices to live for now.
And you're saying figure out a way to make more money.
That's exactly right. I tell my team all the time, cash flow solves all problems. So nothing happens without a sell. And if you really, really want to feel powerful and empowered, your ability to serve others in a unique way and exchange value that's going to make their lives better, that really is the secret to financial abundance and achieving and living the life that you desire and deserve.
I recently listened to some financial experts who said, this idea of the American dream is owning your own home. And as soon as you get to a point where you can invest in a property, most people, they get more house than they can afford. And they were suggesting that you take on a mindset of you buy a duplex or a triplex or something first, live in one apartment, rent out the others, and start small and then upgrade, and then have your tenants pay your first mortgage. And then when that gets old, after 5 years or however long you're living there, then you upgrade from a multiplex to your mortgage, and then maybe have roommates. Like, no one taught me this mindset. It was always like, you grow up, you get a job, after college, you buy a house after you get married. And this idea of, oh my gosh, it makes perfect sense if you can find a duplex or even get roommates, have them pay the mortgage. And then by the time that you reach your biggest expense for most people, which is your mortgage, you have all these other properties that people are paying the mortgage for. And then you're so much closer to that freedom than a single 30-year mortgage can give you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the thought is that what I would say, get educated and then choose the path to wealth that you feel like you are most gifted in, right? Because the truth about real estate is that it's one of the most advantageous assets that you can invest in from a tax advantage standpoint. And the point that I want to make is that you can make that investment, real estate investment, in all kinds of ways. So I think what you've been listening to really is strategies around building wealth and turning your income into wealth, as opposed to what we call the earner mindset. The earner or income mindset spends every dime that they get, and that's really how the American dream, that's what I call the middle class mindset, right? The middle class mindset, we're even so much our how much homes we can afford, how much car we can afford, is based on the middle class mindset, because the middle class runs the economy because they spend every dime. That's why when you see stimulus, you see economic stimulus going to the middle class, because they know middle class mindset, you're going to spend it. And so getting back to your original point, I think Monopoly, we learned that in Monopoly, right? The game of start with one house and then you have two houses and so on. A really great financial hack that we espouse in Wealthy You is buy your first home with the intention of making that your first rental property, right? So rather than buying as much house as you can, you buy that home all with the focus of it being your first investment property. And then as you move out, then that becomes your rental. So there are all kinds of ways through which you can begin to build wealth, turn your income into wealth, right? Or turn your income into assets. See, we've been taught to earn income and spend every dime. The key is to earn income and a portion of that income be deployed into assets that then create more income. And that really is the goal. That really is the secret, if you will, of building wealth.
We are talking about shifting mindsets with America's wealth coach, Deborah Owens, Deborah with the H, DeborahOwens.com. I'm so excited to have you here during the spending season, right? The busiest spending season of the year. One more question before I bring in questions from the Glowstream TV family. I discovered long ago, whatever your talents are, use those talents to make money, but keep your job, right? So if you have your 9 to 5, but you bake amazing cakes, the audience have heard me say this before, then sell those cakes on the side. Who knows? Maybe you can get in coffee shops in your area. For me, it's writing. So I write books. I do children's projects. I write flash. I do all of this stuff. And that has afforded me a certain level of comfort that being middle class and having one job has never allowed me to experience, because you're like, oh, I have money coming in from here. I have money coming in from there. I have my job. That type of diversity feels so good. For people who don't have a lot of assets or resources in terms of investing money in themselves, can you give us some ideas of how they can strategize and get started to use whatever their God-given talent is to start building those blocks towards wealth?
That's exactly what you just described is really the shift that we focused on in Wealthy You. And that's really shifting from that income mindset where you believe that the only way that you can be financially successful is to earn more income, right? And so you're earning more income. And in fact, when you're earning income from just a job, you have W-2 income, and it's the most highly taxed form of income that you have. So in investing, we say diversify your portfolio, but to build wealth, you've got to also diversify your income streams. So as it relates to really identifying other ways that you can create your income stream, I really look at it as a continuum, right? And so we have a profession or we have a certain gift. I know I loved really educating regular folks about how to invest, right? So initially, I did a lot of public speaking and coaching on the side before I left my day job, right? And so that was that diversification of income stream. But the shift that I had to make was from even self-employment, right? Because self-employment, you're still, you only make money if you trade your time for service. And so the real secret is, and I want everybody to get this, okay?
Ooh, I'm listening.
Here's the real secret, okay? Is to then take that gift and make it a system through which you can now generate an income, right? So just taking my own example, my expertise is in finance and investments. I took that expertise and then began to teach and write books about it. And now our company, Wealthy You, we're a financial wellness company, and we have a proprietary framework, a system, right, which we use in our curriculum, we use through coaching, you see it in our books, we have online courses. And so now it's not me making the thing or doing the presentation, it is the system through which creates an outcome where now we have thousands of women who've been through our programs who have made their first 6, 7-figure, now running for 8. And so we know that that system can, if you plug into it, if you get access to it, if you apply it, if you have that community and coaching and support, will produce that outcome over and over. So it's sort of like McDonald's figured out how to make that hamburger, right? There are a bunch of hamburgers out here, but they had a system. And basically, every franchise system, if you really look at the origin of it, was based on that McDonald's franchise system.
I was just talking about McDonald's last night. A friend came over from out of town and we were talking about how do we use our talents to build wealth. And it was just a sporadic conversation because they have done it so beautifully. And my friend said, when you go to McDonald's, it's never a different burger. It's always the same burger. It's bun, cheese, bread. It's never bun, bread, cheese. They have a system down and then they just repeat it over and over again. That consistency, I think, is what builds empires. And whatever you can do to not be sitting in front of a computer, on the phone, automate your talents, like you're saying, Deborah. And so many people have done this with online courses. And for me, it's flashcards. I just wake up and look at the orders, fill the orders, drop them in the mail, and a check comes. I mean, it's very, very simple. My fulfillment process.
So what I would say to you that you have the ability, right, to not be in that system at all. Really, where people are going online, you have a system through which it's being drop shipped, and you don't touch it at all. Right. So that's the point that I want to make.
That's
and it
the next
really,
level for me.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is the next level and it's possible. So I really want people to think about it's never the how, it's the who. Right. There's a fabulous book out of that title. And so the shift that I want people to make is so often what prevents us from really creating that system is we've bought into the idea that if we can do it ourselves, then it's going to be less expensive, right? When in fact, what will allow you to scale, right, is to find someone else to do whatever it is you need to
handle
do,
the fulfillment,
and so that then
right.
you can scale. And the more, so it's focused on growth and scaling as opposed to the margin or the expense. So it really is a matter of looking at what is my return on investment. And typically, if you can get a specialist who can do it more efficiently, you're going to make more money.
And there's so much out there. When it comes to books, the distribution is great. I'm also at Simon & Schuster Flashcards is another thing that I send out, and I'm not there yet. But if someone else can handle the fulfillment, by all means, call a sister. Let's do
Absolutely.
this. Let's bring in the Glow Getters, Brandon, Cheryl, and Norma. You've been listening all hour long to Deborah Owens drop these gems of advice out there to help you glow up your finances. Do you have any questions for America's Wealth Coach?
I do. First of all, I'm happy that you are here, Deborah. I actually have your book. So this was a gift to me a few years back, and I am so excited. When I heard you were coming on, I was like, no way. And of course, I did the 7 wealthy habits were very helpful to me. The reason why I'm bringing this up, this is so timely, is because I was furloughed from my job for over a year and a half. And if I had not done some form of investing, I would not have had a little nest egg to pretty much keep going for that time frame. My question is, although I had that to help me out, and I'm currently back at my employer, so I'm currently working now full time. Everything's all good now since July. What advice would you give to someone who's not necessarily in their 20s or 30s who experienced something like that and sort of, I don't want to say I depleted my little nest egg, but it's definitely nowhere where it was, because I pretty much needed that to take care of my, bills and things like that.
Well, here's what I would say. The most painful lessons are typically the ones that pay the best return, right? And so you've actually experienced what it meant to be put in a position where you weren't in control of whether or not you were going to be able to work or not, right? So
Right.
I think for anyone listening to what I have to say, what is very, very critical is that every dime you receive, that a percentage of it goes, you deposit it into your future, number one. But number two, not only is it important, right, to deposit it in your future. One of the things that I found after, coaching thousands of women is that it's not necessarily that you've probably had millions of dollars flow through your hands already. And you've probably saved a portion of that. But the fact is your money has to work and it has to compound at a higher rate of return. And so that's what's really important at this stage, is that now that you've experienced it, now it's time for you to accelerate the rate of return that you have on your investments and really learn how to, as Markette so aptly put, really learn how to get a return on your investment. That's the advice I would give you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi. My son's name is Brandon, so
it's a good name.
It's a wonderful name. And he's very successful, and I know you are too.
Thank you so much. My question to you would be, what would be one piece of advice? Because I think, like we've established, 2020, even 2021 has been a few years of change, which now has had a lot of people think about investing in the future. But prior to that, I think a lot of us were just like functioning in, that autopilot. What would you say to someone who now says, oh, shoot, I need to start investing? Where should they start? What's that one thing that can help them navigate that beginning piece?
I love that. I love that you asked that, because I think that so often we don't start, right? So the it's to get out of your head, right? The fact is that the knowledge about how to build wealth is typically inherited. So if you didn't have someone in your family, a private banker or, a family office, that I'm sure you're an educated person, but don't you find it interesting that the most important thing that you needed to learn, you didn't learn in your formal education? Yeah. So the key is to start. You have everything to be everything you need to be. And so starting means something as simple as going to Stash App, which is a financial application, joining their Facebook group, and you can invest with as little as $10. And then using the knowledge, Brandon, that you already have, that is your competitive advantage. I see you're in beauty, and there are a lot of Unilever being one of the largest distributors. I forget who owns Fenty, Rihanna's brand. They actually, even though she's the face of it and is creating the products.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is that your gift is beauty. And so not only do I want you to invest in others, I want you to invest in yourself. And I want you to begin to think about your unique process through which you deliver beauty and really systematizing that. And now what you can do is you can white label. I have a wonderful, wonderful friend, Melody Bockelman, and she helps people white label their brands. And so that, my friend, is where I would start, because you have a gift, and I can already see you're probably just amazing on social media. So why not use that to your advantage so that you then have the income through which you can invest?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Ooh, I love that. Deborah is talking about fintech. It's a buzzword right now. Financial technology. Use those apps. Study fintech. That's where it's all going. Gone are the days where you walk into a bank and sit down face to face with a financial advisor. Before we go to the beauty report, which we have in every show, I just wanted to throw the mic to Norma to see if you have any questions. In previous podcasts, you've talked about being a stock market investor.
Yes, I started investing when I turned 40. I was like, well, I'm 40 years old. I need to do some grown-up things. And when I got into it, you always hear of somebody, oh, I bought Apple at this and it went to this. So I pretty much thought that that's what it was, but you kind of need to take those dividends and reinvest it into that, because when you buy Zoom at $15 and it goes to $100 and something, if you sell out, you don't own Zoom anymore. So you have to put a little bit back into it, or else you'll just get that one big hit. Deborah, I wanted to tell you, congratulations on your daughter making the Forbes list.
Yes.
You're a proud mama.
I am much, you know what? Thank you for saying that. Yeah, my daughter Olivia made the Forbes 30 under 30 list. She is the creator of I Fund Women of Color, and taking over the helm and creating. She was already on the I Fund Women team, but when she launched I Fund Women of Color, it was specifically because most of the 70% of the women who were on Women of Color on I Fund Women, but they were only raising 30% of the funds. And so within just a year, she was able to increase that to 51%. So yes, I am a proud mama, and I really appreciate you saying that, because that's really what it's about.
Well, my question is for anybody that's getting into investing. I know that like they always see do your due diligence and look into the companies and look into financials. Is there anything specific that whenever we are doing our homework on certain companies that we should be looking for?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things we do in Wealthy You, and one of the things I teach, is really a process through which you evaluate stocks just like an analyst, right? And so there are a number of different criteria that we look at, and the most important is sales, right? But then there is and that's top line. But bottom line, you can bring in a whole bunch of revenue and still lose money, right? And in fact, the truth is that for years, Amazon, Google, many of those companies didn't make money, weren't actually profitable, but it was the growth of their customer base, right? And it was all those proprietary products that allowed them to, and so that's what you really want to look at, right? Growth in two areas: growth in sales and growth in customers. And then, the other criteria that we look at are the price to earnings. Not only the price to earnings ratio, but we call the price to earnings growth. So I don't want to get too technical, right? But the key is I want you to look at it this way. for a company, just like your personal finances, right? Like you can bring in a whole lot of income. You could be making $150,000, but if you're spending 200, you're broke, right? The same thing is true of finding good companies who can perform over a long period of time. I also want to invite people, if they want to learn about, the process of investing, to really join our private Facebook group. They can just Google us, Wealthy You Community, or they can just go to wealthyu.com and join from there. But really, really important though, like now, I guess what I'm most fearful of is everybody thinks, oh, well, you just invest in the stock market and you make money, right? I think social media can be pervasive. But when you've been through many ups and downs of the stock market and recessions, one of the best things that ever happened to me was very early on in my career, I lost a ton of money trading options. I started with a commodities broker. And what I saw is that, and what I believe even today, is that fast money is an oxymoron, right? Anything of value takes time. And when you're patient and when you learn how to take calculated risk, that's how you build generational wealth, right? That lasts from generation to generation. So great question. Yes, do your homework.
This is all good information. I am going to join that private Facebook group.
Listen, I'm joining too.
Exactly. All of the listeners, please join this Facebook group. No such thing as fast money. That's a huge gem that was dropped. I believe in investing into yourself holistically. We just spent more than a half hour talking about investing in your money. Bring in more than you put out. Okay, that's another big gem. And now, Deborah, yes, and invest it. I want to thank you and encourage people to find out more information about you. And I would love for you to stick around for our next segment, which is the Be Rich Beauty Report, because I really believe I've actually worked in many different industries, and my success has always been in believing in myself. And when you look good and you feel good and you do good, you have confidence. And that's why I love this segment. Brandon, take it away.
So this is all working into what I'm talking about today, because I launched yesterday on my social media platforms, holiday gifting day one with me. And I focused on wellness. And, during the pandemic, I started taking a lot more supplements and primarily sea moss. And I don't know if y'all know, the sea moss became real popular during the 90s, during the pandemic, like a 90s R&B club. So I was just like, I need to eat and take some sea moss. Well, one of the things I don't know if you guys know is sea moss requires refrigeration. So unless you are traveling with a refrigerator, it's hard to be on the go and have your sea moss supplements. So, I don't know if you guys can see, okay, with the virtual background, but sea moss in a bottle. I'm spotlighting a small business. I'm spotlighting a Black business. I'm spotlighting a friend's business who decided that, you know what, how can I take the great qualities of sea moss, put it in capsules, so those of us with lifestyles on the go can still get all the nutrients. And when I tell you, this is made with black pepper, organic Irish moss, bladderwrack. Originally I was like, I don't know what this is, but it sounds like it came from the ocean, and it does. It's like a form of seaweed, along with burdock root as well. So you have all the great benefits of sea moss in a capsule. And the company name is Emirene, Emirene. It is going to be up on Glowstream TV today for Makeup Monday, so you guys can click the link there. But they have so many great dietary supplements along with sea moss. Now, do you guys take sea moss by chance?
Oh,
I've been hearing about it, and I don't really know what it is. I mean, is it collagen? Cheryl, have you heard of it?
I haven't heard of it, but it sounds like something I might want to try out if it's going to do something to, I don't know.
So let me move my bang up my face for all the people that are watching right now and listening. So sea moss has some really great benefits. It's packed full of minerals, one. It's really like the MVP of superfoods from the ocean. It's one of the most powerful superfoods that comes from the ocean in general. So it has minerals, It helps to support a healthy heart. It helps to support and help you maintain a healthy weight. It gives you immunity support. So it helps to boost your immune system. And hi, we got the Omicron, the Omarion roaming around here these days. We all need immune support. And they even say it helps improve your libido, sugar. So listen, there is tons of great properties and values in sea moss. And so I'm truly obsessed with this. And so this was my day one of holiday gifting with me. And it was focusing on wellness, sea moss, and capsules. I take 2 every morning. Get you some sea moss, y'all. Check out Amerian.com for sea moss and other great supplements because it's the holiday season. We're going to be ripping, we're going to be running, we're going to be hanging out with family and friends. So we have to make sure our inside is well and intact. So.
I live for this type. Anything that says boosts immune system and makes you look young, I'm like, oh, I'm buying it. So I love this. And now, is this different than like just ordering a seaweed salad?
Yes, because I don't know if the seaweed salad is harvested the same way as the sea moss. So, and I think, sea moss and seaweed are 2 different things just in general. So you got and
I didn't know that. This is why we have your beauty report.
Is that this product specifically has not only the Irish moss and AKA sea moss, and also it has, some benefits of seaweed built into it. So it really is a great superfood here that you can take for all of those great additional benefits, those health benefits.
Your skin always looks so great. I cannot wait to read your Makeup Monday and find out more about this small business and Black-owned brand.
I did a virtual live facial with a beautiful esthetician who has a company called Skin Can Do on Saturday on the YouTube channel. So check that out as well. And because again, holiday season, how do we treat ourselves? So we walk you guys through how to give yourselves a facial at home. And I think that might be why I look extra glowy today, Markette.
Well, I'm going to be expecting a report on how you automate this and build an empire off of all of your beauty knowledge.
I know I have homework to do, according to Deborah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Deborah was great. She had to jump off because she coaches like a bajillion people on how to build their empires. So I want to thank you as well, Brandon. I know you have to jump off the call early. And I want to pivot to Cheryl Grant. This is the season of holiday movies and entertainment. Lots of good things are happening. Tell me what's on deck to premiere and do great and really uplift our spirits this season.
Well, if we're talking about uplifting our spirits, holiday movie lovers, hey, listen, Hallmark has you covered. Everyone knows that Hallmark has you covered. So if you're looking to catch holiday movies, they've got you covered. They doing 24/7 right now, doing holiday movies 24/7. They've got you covered with their countdown to Christmas. So you can expect new movies from them, original movies, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights with new movies. Meanwhile, this 24/7 is what they're doing right now. Lifetime's got you covered too. They're doing something called It's a Wonderful Lifetime. And so they also have movies streaming all day on their network. So you can see new movies there. New originals, I should say, will hit during the weekends. And here's the thing. They are not the only ones. Every network, I don't care if you're looking at cable, if you're doing linear channels, all of them right now, streaming networks are all pushing out holiday movies. So just make sure that you check your local listings so you can get your fill of holiday movies. Now, speaking of Christmas, Denzel Washington is directing a new movie. It's called A Journal for Jordan, and it stars Michael B. Jordan. He's one of my faves, so I can't wait to see this. I have been watching the trailer, y'all, and I have to say, it is a tearjerker. I can tell it's a very heartwarming story. The premise of the story is that he has been deployed to Iraq, and he has started a journal for his newborn son. And that pretty much gives love and advice to his newborn son through this journal. It looks really good. The only way you're going to see it is if you hit the theater. It's going to be in theaters on Christmas Day. So that's
what?
A family
They are
movie.
Making you go to the movies again with the variant,
yes.
The Omarion variant.
Yes. Look, and on Christmas Day.
Okay, we'll see how that does.
Yeah, on Christmas Day. But this last one that I want to tell you all about, I'm really excited about this. Finally, Sex and the City fans, grab your Cosmos. It is coming this week on Thursday, December 9th. You can finally see the reboot, which is called And Just Like That. It hits HBO Max this Thursday, December 9th. It'll stream 2 episodes. I don't want to give too much away because I plan to review this for Glowstream TV. I'm very excited about this new reboot. What I am interested in knowing is how they're going to pretty much the character Samantha, how they're going to pretty much address that, and sadly also how they're going to address Carrie's bestie. I don't know if you guys remember Stanford Blanche. Gary passed away. The character,
Yes.
yeah.
So
yeah.
we're losing 2 really staples of the Sex and the City franchise.
Yes,
Samantha
yes.
and her bestie who
Yes,
passed away. But Samantha said she didn't want to
Stanford
come
Blanche.
back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. She's not coming back. She has no plans of coming back. I'll be interested to know, is she going to watch it? I mean, a little part of me wants to know, will she just peep just to see how it's, going, how it's turning out? But she has her own projects. So I don't think she's really that pressed to be in it. But I can't wait to see it. The trailers look great. The ladies look fabulous in their new season of life. They're in their 50s. They look great. So I can't wait to see the storylines develop and all of that. So I'm excited. So everyone, all your eyes turn to HBO Max this Thursday and check it out. And so that's my entertainment report.
Part of my heart just aches for Samantha because I'm like, if this thing comes out and it's a smash hit, she's not going to be able to not see it. It's going to be everywhere and it's got to hurt a little bit. But, to each his own. Everybody grows in different ways. And Sex and the City was a huge part of her life. And if she feels like she wants the world to know more or something different about herself, then by all means, I'm wishing that whatever she does in her other projects is also a huge success.
Yeah, because the last thing she did, it was a series, I believe, on Fox. It got canceled. It was only on for a few episodes. I know she's doing something else. I can't quite recall the show that she's going to appear on, but I wish her well. I hope that works out for her. But I am curious to see how they're going to address her character in these new reboots. And they're going to drag it out. This is going to be a weekly thing, by the way, just like back in the day. So you're not going to get you're not going to be able to binge watch. So just know that every week, Wednesday, it'll be appointment TV for HBO Max.
I'm definitely going to be there for that. Loved every single installment of Sex and the City, the series, the movies, and yes. I'm just signing up, sight unseen. I will be there in the comfort of my home.
Yes, the same. So that wraps up my entertainment report.
I love it, Cheryl. Thank you so much. And now I want to toss it to Norma. Norma, we have this amazing recovery blog that you write on Glowstream TV. And around the holidays, when people start to get the seasonal holiday blues, it's so inspiring to read your words and your thoughts, whether you can relate to a path of recovery similar to Norma's or not. There's something for everyone in what you write.
Thank you. So I haven't written a blog in 2 weeks, but it's up here. And I guess I could have worse problems than too many ideas. So if you're listening and you read my blog, I will have one this week, but I've had finals and stuff. And this week's topic is going to be basically, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Because we can work hard and we're going to do this, and this, and then God will just kind of stop us. So it's going to be on that, and I'll touch on me wanting to be Barbie when I grew up to what I do now. And most importantly, it's going to talk about, y'all know I'm the forever single girl, I can do this. Well, Norma has a boyfriend now.
What?
Right?
Yeah, by the way, Norma, you look great and your skin is glowing. I was just thinking that. I'm is this new love in your life?
So, and it's funny because, a couple 5 or 6 blogs ago, I'm Miss Single for Life. And then it just kind of happened, so I'm going to touch on that. And you never know, we can make all the plans we want to, but if they don't align with God's plans for our lives, they're not going to happen that way. So sometimes we just kind of have to let go, let God do his thing, and then everything else works out on our end. So that's what I'm going to have for you guys this week for sure. Finals are over. I have 2 finals left actually, and then I'll be done with that. So
for those of you who don't know, Norma is in college right now. She is, I guess you are reinventing your life, and that is so exciting. And one thing that I want to say is that I'm very proud of you and I'm very inspired by you. And I agree. I have come to the conclusion that I have no idea what I'm doing in life at all. And it's just because it's like, if I set my mind to something, yes, I can achieve it. But sometimes when God comes and moves through your life, it's so much greater than you could have ever imagined. And on that note, we are going to wrap this episode of Glow with Markette Sheppard. I want to thank everyone for joining us on this episode. I feel like we got some advice to fix our entire lives. Every single corner of the attic has been vacuumed and we sucked out the dust. So whether it's finances, wellness, rediscovering your plans in the eyes of what God has planned for you, and movies and entertainment to fill your heart, we covered it all in just 1 hour. So thank you for listening. And if you're watching on Facebook, watching Glow with Markette Sheppard, the podcast companion to Glowstream TV. If you would like more information, just visit our website, glowstreamtv.com. And remember, don't just go through life, glow through life. And on that note, thanks for watching. We're still live on Facebook, guys. Do you have any parting words for our audience before we let them go for another week of glow getting?
Yes, make sure you go over to Instagram, follow us, tag friends on our posts. We're going to have some giveaways coming up. So make sure that you tag your friend, because some giveaways might be something for you and your friend, but y'all are going to have to follow us on social media to know.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. Cheryl?
Yes, and I will have some postings. I'm like Norma in a sense. I haven't posted in a while, but I'm looking forward to posting some great stuff. So please go to glowstreamtv.com in the film and TV section. Got some things coming for you.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's been an impactful hour. We will see you next week with an all-new episode, Glow with Markette Sheppard, and check out those promos on social media that Norma mentioned. Take care, guys. Bye.